So Italy is doing this thing called legislating with boomers. It's when you have elderly people that don't really understand the internet, they don't get internet culture, they do not know how things work. So they're making laws that are ambiguous and sometimes even harmful, in the sense that you can put a person that's not a danger to society in prison. Like, I would hope that the government usually try to avoid accomplishing things like that. So recently you have the Supreme Court of Italy deciding that the way you can tell if a drawing is child pornography or not is if it has big breasts or small breasts. So basically, sexuality is in the eye of the beholder, regardless of how the artist draws it. And secondly, if it's got small breasts, then it's underage. If it's got big breasts, then it's fine. So theoretically, if you are to apply the law based on its wording, if an Italian is in a Discord server and someone posts a nude picture of Jinx from League of Legends, well, that guy can potentially be arrested for CP charges. And in the news, it's going to be like, you've been arrested for CP, you're going to go to prison, other convicts will find out that, oh, well, you had CP on your computer. Because, well, obviously you're not going to show the picture to the public and see that, well, it's actually just a representation of Jinx from League of Legends, right? So you can create these, I would say, dangerous environment where the law is written like a trust and safety thing from a social media rather than something concrete, which you can objectively base things by. But it is what it is, right? So that was like one thing that was pretty much all the talk of Twitter and the talk of Reddit. If you have Italians on your Discord server, you know, care about their safety. Do not put pictures of Jinx there. Or even like Dragon Ball Episode 1, I think that Goku appears naked for a gag. And take into account that it doesn't really matter how the artist drew it. It's whether or not the judge gets aroused by it. So Goku is harmful. In Italy, though. But now apparently they want to make rickrolling a criminal offense as well. So before you say that I'm pulling this out of my ass, there is a link to it. And as you can see, it's from the Ministero della Giustizia, so the Ministry of Justice. And they're giving example the actual thing with rickroll as to now be a potential crime. So how are they actually justifying that if you rickroll someone in Italy, you should go to prison? Well, they're basically saying that what appears to be a harmless link from a friend quickly turns into a rickroll music. And they're considering this to be the same like a scam. Like they consider this to be the same like a fraud. Because it's trying to trick someone into clicking on a hypertextual link with the objective is to generate revenue by attracting traffic to a specific website. So basically the way they are viewing it is because when you rickroll someone, they click on a video which is probably tied to YouTube. And on YouTube, if you have like rickroll on your channel, the people who have the copyrights for rickroll, and on that video they will be displayed ads, which the music company who owns the rickroll brand is going to make money off of. So again, like this is the writing of the law. Like, it's so stupid because the person rickrolling isn't doing it in order to make the music company earn more money. In fact, they're not even tied to the music company, nor do they care. Like the reason you rickroll someone, in fact, like in 2023, no one even rickrolls anymore, which goes to show just how detached the lawmaker is from the actual problem on the ground. And people, when they were rickrolling, were doing it as a joke. You know, you're showing someone like a picture of a beautiful lady of Meloni-chan, and when they're clicking on Meloni-chan, instead of like listening to her speeches, they're actually getting rickrolled, right? So the joke was to see the reaction of the person who's like disappointed because they wanted to see something and instead they're getting something else. It's not to get the music company to make more money. It's not even to get people to buy Rickroll album. In fact, when people were trolling and they were doing this meme, the face of Rickroll was triggering people. because in their mind it was linked to disappointment. What I think that the lawmaker is trying to do in this situation, it was to prevent people scamming. So like you have a website and you have a link, and you encourage people to click that link promising it is something, but when they click that link it's something else. So it is theoretically a case of fraud, but I would say like it's a fraud of such a low scale that first of all the social media companies themselves can handle it. Like not everything needs to be solved by calling the cops. And secondly, it's even difficult to enforce, right? So that was what I think the lawmaker was trying to achieve by this legislation, is to prevent people from having scams on the internet. But again, like, it doesn't matter what they want, it matters how they wrote the law. And the way the law is wrote is that it doesn't really care whether the person that's sending people to a different link is actually doing it for their profits or not. Like, as long as the link is making a profit, so as long as like there's ads on the video and you're directing people to something, you're committing a crime. And that example is Rickrolling. But if you look at the law, literally anything that you do to direct people to a YouTube video and you're telling them that it's a different video, you're committing a crime in Italy now. So if you're telling someone, hey, look at this video, it's an anime, and it's not an anime, it's something else, you're committing a crime. It's the same like trying to defraud someone, basically. And the way that it's going to be enforced is very interesting, because I genuinely think that what's going to happen is you're going to have certain people that will have arguments. You know, like you're arguing with someone on the internet, and then that person is just going to look for reasons to fuck you over. And what they can do is they can, if they're not from Italy, they can send you lewd pictures of Jinx from League of Legends and get you into trouble with the cops. Or they can look at the links you send them, and if it happens that you send them a link and you send it something else by mistake, they can use that in order to get you in trouble with the law. It is absolutely ridiculous. You know, I do not understand how these laws even manage to pass, because again, like they're trying to look at some of the laws that are old and rewrite them, you know, update them for a modern time and make it fit with the modern internet. But again, like you should only have crimes if it's a danger for society. Like it's not okay to get people in trouble with the law for doing something as harmless as Rickrolling. And in fact, I'm willing to bet that the Italian people themselves would agree to this. Like there are certain crimes which can be handled just by the private sector. Like Facebook itself can just ban people, you know, make it a TOS violation if you send links that do not represent what they are, if you consider it to be such a societal nuisance. In fact, Google AdSense already does it, right? Like if your website is advertising a link and it takes people to something that's not what's advertised, you get suspended by the program. Like it's got TOS and it doesn't allow people to do that. So there is absolutely no need to have the Italian government come in and crack down on this. Not to mention, you know, like the courts have limited resources. You want speedy and fast justice. If you're going to like flood the courts with this shit, you're going to have a bad time. But again, at least I'm not Italian, I guess. And thank God the Romanian government hasn't passed a legislation like this. Though there is the danger, especially in the European Union, that countries do look at what other legislation other countries pass, and then, you know, I guess like for ease of convenience, they copy-paste that legislation. In the situation of Romania, we haven't done it yet, especially not with Italy, so that's good. If it was in France, I would be more concerned. But let me know what you think. Do you think like someone should get in trouble with the law for Rickrolling, or is it an offense that's not that serious? Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.